So you're thinking about buying drop shades. What are drop shades? Let's talk about those. Let's talk about different quality versions of those, what you can buy, all that sort of thing. First off, if you're new to the channel, we're the Luxury Pergola. We sell a pergola that opens and closes, and people often ask us if we sell motorized or manual drop screens that come down on either side of the pergola, and we do not sell them. And I'll explain why as I go through how they're typically manufactured and the different ways that you can buy them. So there's two different ways you can typically buy a shade or screen panel for the side of your pergola. One of those is a manual screen. Now you can buy these from China, you can buy them from Costco, you can buy them anywhere, and these are typically going to be something that is cable mount guided, so it's going to be steel cable guides with a hem bar or bar at the bottom that has weight in it to hold the screen down using gravity essentially. And it's going to be tied in at the top, and it's just going to be either anchored at the bottom, or sometimes you'll have these made out of actually string instead of cables, but typically it's a cable guide. The issue with these is that they billow. So when the wind blows against it, it's going to want to curve almost like the sail on a boat. And so they're okay. They operate more like a blind on your actual window than they do a screen, the way I would traditionally call a drop screen. A more traditional drop screen is going to be something that is dense enough and strong enough that it can handle relatively normal gusts of wind. And so that is typically going to be a captured edge drop shade. Now captured edge is a fancy way of describing, essentially it's a track system that is like a zipper on a jacket. So you've got a screen with one end of the zipper, you've got basically a guide here with the other end of the zipper, and it basically guides or glides inside of that track. And the reason why that's important is because when the wind blows against it, you have all of that track that's going to be dispersing that wind energy, and so it's not going to billow as much. Sure, it may have the screen where it moves in a little bit, curves in a little bit, but it won't basically billow out like a big sail on a boat. Now these captured edge drop shades immediately come at a higher price. One, they need to be custom. So you can't have an opening size that is, 5 inches larger and still put the same shade in there like you can with a cable guide, because you're mounting to the ground and the ceiling. You can just forget about the gaps on the sides. The captured edge drop shade needs to know exactly what the picture window is, how tall, how wide. And not only that, but the actual tracks themselves are typically made out of an extruded aluminum. Now, that being said, you may be able to find a version of this for about $2,000 to $4,000 on the lower side. And then when you start getting custom installed versions of drop shades, you're going to be probably closer to the $4,500 to $9,000. And I say $9,000 only because you could get a 24-foot long by 12-foot drop shade, and that's gonna, it's gonna be enormous. You're covering, over 250 square feet with a sail, and so it's gonna be really expensive. So if you're looking to buy something that big, you're definitely gonna go the custom route. As for us, we don't offer shades only because traditionally in the marketplace, you're either going to buy from a contractor who's going to custom install it, and that's how we would recommend you install your drop shade. Get someone that knows the opening size, manufactures it, custom makes it, and then attaches it to your existing pergola, in our case, or a pergola from us, or a wood porch. If you buy a kitted version of this, something that is, already made in a preset size, and then you buy it, typically, especially the manual versions of these, are going to be relatively inexpensive in their manufacturer. What I mean by that is the screen mesh could be a polyester base, which means it's going to sun rot. It's not UV resistant, and so it's going to deteriorate over time. You're also going to have the issue of most of the mechanisms are going to be made out of a lower alloy in order to save money. And all of that meaning that in order to offer a shade at the price that we try to offer our louvered pergola, we either need to extrude the aluminum ourselves or get it manufactured in China, and that's not typically how our business model works. So until we can manufacture our own, which would require however many millions of dollars to research and develop and create our own drop shade that is better than what's already out there, we would refer you out to an existing manufacturer that already has plenty of them out there in the market and use one of theirs. So that's why we don't do a kit. The other reason is because of the voltage. So we try and make our entire unit a 24 volt system so you can use it with landscape wire. So most counties and most districts don't need an electrician to run that wire, so you can do it yourself. You'd have to check your local building code to make sure that that's true. But for 110 volt in almost every area of the United States, they would require an electrician to run it. And we like to sell a kit that does not require an electrician to actually do the electrical work. So that's the other reason. To answer your question, yes, you can buy a luxury pergola from us. You can get a drop shade that is installed into the actual unit, and we'll come out with more information as to exactly how those are typically done and the way we would typically recommend installing it, but we don't sell it ourselves. You should find your own contractor. We're happy to answer their questions if they have any, and then you can get a shade added to your luxury pergola. That's it, short and sweet, drop shades. There's a lot of different ways you can buy them. There are different quality ones by far, and in order to hit what we like, which is a USA made, well-engineered product, it would take us a whole lot of time and energy, and right now we want to focus on offering the best pergola we can before we move into drop shades. Do us a favor and subscribe. We're doing more videos about outdoor products and about our product in general. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.